Sonia.elsie here. So for today's video, I'm actually going to be reading to you guys some dreams from my dream journal. As some of you guys know, I've been keeping a dream journal. I think I've mentioned it on my Snapchat story and definitely on my YouNows I've been talking about it, and a lot of you guys have been like, hey, you should make a video where you read some of your dreams. So I thought that would be a really cool idea. I've been writing down my dreams, or at least trying to, since about January of this year, and it's been really interesting. It's really cool to just read back on my dreams and be like, huh, that's, I guess, what my brain came up with. And then also some of my dreams that I've had have connected with things in real life or have even predicted things, which to me is so crazy. A lot of my dreams are just like a clusterfuck of random shit, but some of them are actually really cool and help me make decisions. Like I said earlier, predict things, just really crazy stuff. So a lot of the times I will write them down and kind of reflect and be like, I wonder what this dream means. Like, is it just kind of a bullshit dream, or is it really something that's kind of important? So yeah, if any of you guys don't already keep a dream journal, I would definitely recommend it. Even if you can only remember a couple sentences of your dreams, as you start writing down your dreams more, I feel like you start to remember them more. And also, if any of you guys are like dream interpreters or something, I would love if you commented your thoughts on my dreams down below. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to be reading some of these, and just a quick warning beforehand, some of my dreams are a little bit inappropriate. I'm not completely sure if I'm going to be reading them yet, but just a quick warning in case you're like super sensitive to that stuff, okay? Okay. And also, some of my dreams mention people I know in real life, and I don't really feel comfortable saying that I've dreamed about some people. Of course, I feel fine mentioning like my close friends, but some acquaintances or like exes or just random people that I don't know very well, I've had very vivid dreams about. So I'm going to be changing some of the names in this video just to avoid awkwardness in case they watch, okay? Let's get started. So this first dream is from January 2nd of 2017. Last night I had a dream that had mainly Bob, Sarah, and Sally in it. It started off in LA and we were at some kind of party when we all became friends. Then we all went on a road trip back to my house so that they could drop me off and because they wanted to see the West Coast. Bob kept being flirtatious, but not in a creepy way, like a friendship way. Sally kept complimenting me. Sarah did not say that much during the dream, but it was just understood that we were all happy and loved each other. We got to my house and they parked their car in my garage. We said bye and I hugged all of them, and then they drove back home. At the end of the dream, Sarah posts an Instagram video of her posing in a swimsuit on the beach during the golden hour, but the sky was completely orange. Then a seagull in slow motion comes down and scoops up her water bottle. All she says is, "What the fuck," a bunch of times, but then she eventually gets her water bottle back. Then the dream ends. Very riveting dream to begin this with. January 4th, 2017. I had a few dreams in different parts. When I first fell asleep at about 6, I just had this recurring dream that I was driving down the freeway. I had this feeling of worry, but I think that was just because I am a nervous driver. Sometimes I like to include my thoughts. The next time I fell asleep, I had a dream that I was about to have sex with, I'm gonna insert a random name, Peter, but then his uncle walked in and got mad at me for not having a shirt on. He told me I was disgusting because my shirt was falling off. Then we were walking around at some random school. We were outside the building in kind of a housing area. A bunch of the students were mad at me, but I'm not really sure why. I then got mad because they were mad and started to get into a physical fight with some of them. An adult grabbed me by the collar and held me over a cliff. He threatened to drop me over the cliff if I did not stop fighting with the students, so I told him that I wouldn't. He apparently was a police officer and was friends with my dad. I then went back into the school building and he told me what I did wasn't cool and that I was one of the worst students he had ever encountered. But that he still believed that I had potential, and then he went into his office. I remember staring at a handmade sign in the classroom for a long time before leaving the classroom. January 5th, 2017. I had a really vivid dream last night, but I was late to class, so I did not have time to write out the dream before I left and may have forgotten a little bit. A quick disclaimer I wrote for myself, apparently. I had a dream that Peter and I were traveling across Europe in a train, but there was a feeling of tenseness. We kept having to get off and were questioned by a ton of different police officers. We went to Spain and I was excited because I had always wanted to go there. Then we were back home. I was in my room and I had just sent a Facebook message to Billy. That's gonna be this person's name. We were talking and I somehow managed to change the profile picture on my Facebook cover to a picture of him and I standing next to each other, except he was naked and covering his junk with his hands. Like, what the fuck? I tried to change it, but then some military people started trying to invade my house and my neighbor Tim's house. Peter and I ran to Tim's backyard to hide because he had a little wire fence with a little bit of barb on it. It's not completely a barbed wire fence, but partially. We found Billy, who was hiding under the small tree in his backyard, naked. We were confused. We were also yelling and trying to get away from the military people. Then my alarm went off and I woke up. What? January 6, 2017. Last night I had a dream that I was with Peter and we were in a random pet store. He kept talking about how bugs are the new and popular source of food, but we were skeptical. Then he tried to take our cat and eat her, but she fought back. Then we ran away. Next, I was in an Uber with Stella in Paris and the driver was super creepy. We got off and we were stuck in this really creepy alleyway at night and had no idea where we were. Ian was supposed to pick us up and bring us to his apartment, but he never did. We fell asleep in the alleyway and woke up super paranoid. It was 2 a.m. in the dream. I then remember running through the subway systems in Paris with this random little girl that I had never met before. We were running from something. Paris felt really ominous. Then I woke up, and then I added this fun excerpt. I just remembered another part of the dream where Ian had a white lighter. When he pulled it out, a dark figure said, "That's not a good idea." Every time he would smoke with it, he would get older. Before I woke up, he smoked one last time and died. That is not creepy at all. Not okay. Okay, dream, Sonia. January 7th, 2017. I had a dream last night that I was in school. It was a school that I didn't recognize, but it was the first day of classes. I walked into my music class and the teacher was Lana Del Rey. I was so excited I almost cried, but she looked way older, like 50, and her hair was thinning. She introduced herself to all of us, and when she got to me, she smiled and made eye contact with me for a really long time. She said I was special to her. I was so excited and tried to take a Snapchat of her to put on my story, but it didn't work. Dream Sonia tried to take a Snapchat of 50-year-old Lana Del Rey in class. Okay. She played the piano a little bit and had the class do some singing exercises. After class, I asked her if she would like to have lunch with me. She said yes, and we got sandwiches and ice cream at Real Food Daily in LA. So specific. After that, I went to my other class, then I woke up. January 8th, 2017. Last night, I had a dream that I had a few tarantulas. I let them crawl on my arm a little bit. They were brownish-blackish. That was the whole dream. I think I had that dream because the night before I was watching some videos on YouTube about tarantulas. Riveting. And then these next few dreams are really short. January 10th, 2017. I think I had a long dream, but I can't remember any of it. The only part that I remember is giving Peter's roommate my dream journal and saying, "You can read this." January 11th, 2016. I had a dream that I was wandering around a random city, I think it was Paris, with the YouTuber, and I'm not going to say the YouTuber's name because you guys will make fun of me so hard. We kept romantically making out. I forget the rest of the dream. I literally wrote that. I forgot the rest of the dream. Maybe it was so weird that I didn't want to write it down. January 13th, 2017. I had a dream about the boy that I used to have a crush on. We're gonna call him Gerald. I had a crush on him probably all throughout middle school, like 6th or 8th grade. We were hanging out in a random room that had a couch and a loft bed. We were looking through a pamphlet about a cruise that he wanted to take me on because his parents owned the cruise line. I wanted to go on the cruise because apparently we were going to Bolivia. We randomly started making out, and he told me that he had liked me since middle school. I didn't say anything, but I smiled. We then started packing and headed towards the cruise ship. We got on and we had this really cool private room that had a wooden look to it. The whole room and boat looked like the inside of a log cabin. The room was big and had some small circle-shaped windows with a blue border around them, and in the front of the room there was a huge window that overlooked the water. A room was at the front of the boat, but on the bottom floor. We sat on the bed, which had a blue and white checkered quilt on it. We started randomly making out again. Then we got to a random city in Europe and stopped to get off and look around. Gerald and I were holding hands and we walked down a road with cobblestones and tons of markets. At this point of the dream, I realized that I was dreaming. I started looking around and was shocked because of how vivid the dream was. I made eye contact with this random Asian woman and looked up and saw the sun. After walking around for a bit, Gerald and I went back to the cruise ship so that we could start heading to Bolivia. In the dream, Bolivia was a random little beach town in Asia that had some lighthouses and apparently some crystals. I know it's not actually that, but in the dream, that's what it was. We got there and we had to hike over this mountain/cliff area to get to it. We turned the corner and we saw the small city. We were amazed because it looked just like the pictures. There was a mountain of crystals we had to climb over to see the city, and also a beach area and a lighthouse that shone a pretty bright light across the water even though it was pretty sunny out. We walked closer to the crystal mountain, and when we got to the top of it, I kept trying to climb it, but kept falling. The crystals were all different colors and about the size of my hand. Gerald told me that if I couldn't climb the mountain that he would leave me there because I was holding him up from seeing everything. I was mad, and then he left me, so I gave up trying to climb the crystal mountain. I walked over to the beach and saw this huge glass tower. I started climbing it. It was maybe 25 stories high. I got about 8 stories high and saw a group of 3 random guys that looked like typical college dudes. They asked me what was wrong because I looked upset, and I said because my friend Gerald left me here and I had no way to get back home. They apologized and we just sat there. Suddenly I started seeing a ton of businessmen go up and down the ladder. They were talking about a new type of social media and were using the tower as their social media. That does not make any sense. Then I woke up. January 20th, 2017. Last night I had a really vivid dream that started off in a resort that was in Thailand. I was randomly with my mom and we were sitting at a small table with some tile patterns on it. The resort had pods next to the table area and people started throwing things into the water that splashed at us and on our laptops. I was like, we should get some towels to dry these off. And I opened up my laptop and was mad that it didn't turn on. Suddenly a bunch of random men appeared and my mom disappeared. The guys took me away and suddenly we were underneath the water on a creepy bus. The guys were very creepy, but I was trying to be nice to them because I was afraid that they would hurt me. We then ended up in a grocery store in Seattle and we were finally above the water. One of the guys took me to, what's some random fake names? Chad and Eric, okay. One of the guys took me to Chad and Eric's house where I found out that I was pregnant. I stayed with them, but we were all concerned because I was only pregnant for about a month and I already started to show signs of going into labor. I was going into labor when a dog jumped on my stomach and almost killed me. Then I found out that the baby was an alien and that's why I grew so fast. So I took a pill to abort it, and as I took the pill I woke up. That's really dark. Like that's just really dark. I'm sorry if that upsets anyone. February 8th, 2017. As we see, I slacked for about a week, I guess, like over a week. I had a dream that started off under an overpass. I was upset because I was being taken away from my family. Some men were pulling me away, and I was handcuffed. Suddenly, where I just was before I got attacked in a bombing, I started screaming, "What about my dad?" to the men who were dragging me away. They looked at me with pity but said nothing. Then I woke up in the dream. Like I woke up in the dream, but I was still dreaming. That makes sense. I saw a woman with darker hair in a red dress. She looked about 40. Stella was also there. Apparently I was in the Middle East. We went outside and started looking at apartments because Stella wanted to move there for some reason. The apartments were very small, cramped, and next to an extremely busy street. The apartments looked a bit like the ones in Paris. Then I woke up. Then apparently I didn't write down my dreams until March. March 4th, 2017. I had a dream that started off in a random house in the woods. My classmate Corey was in the house, which was gray. He looked at me and his eyes looked really sunken in. I asked him what was wrong and he told me that he had this really intense disease but wouldn't tell me what the disease was. I was really stressed and he told me that I needed to help him find a cure. We were looking around the forest and he kept getting sicker and sicker. I had to hide the fact that I was helping him from Gerald because he was starting to get mad at me. Corey kept telling me that if I didn't find the cure for his disease, he would be so disappointed in me, and after he died, I would have to live the rest of my life knowing that I let him die. Gerald kept telling me to let him die. Corey and I somehow ended up in my kitchen, and I was looking through the cabinets to find whatever the cure was. I looked down at Corey, and he is completely gray and breathing very sharply. I sat down and started crying. He said, "I knew you wouldn't be able to do it," and he handed me a crystal necklace he was wearing. I put it on, and he died. I woke up. The second part of my dream, I gave him a crystal. It was a clear quartz. It was supposed to protect him. I woke up. Wow, my dreams are really dark. Okay, I'm gonna skip that dream. March 17th, 2017. I had a dream that started off in a college campus. I was trying to meet up with, we need another boy name. Guys, these are hard to come up with Chad. I finally went into a building and he tried escaping through a window. I kept saying, "Hey," and he grabbed me by the shoulders in a hug and spun me around in a circle. Then I woke up. May 9th, 2017. I had a dream that I was trapped in this alternate universe. I was with my dad. He was trapped with me. We were making this vegan pasta dish with feta cheese, avocado, and cucumber while trying to figure out how to get out of this alternative universe. The planet we were on had a red ground and the sky looked different. You could see the stars, but instead of it just being a black sky with white stars, it was a blue, black, purple, and pink sky. The stars were yellow, and there were so many of them. As we were trying to figure out how to get out of the alternative universe, we started playing Love by Lana Del Rey. It somehow helped us figure out what we had to do. These annoying girls kept trying to tell me to change what I was doing, but I ignored them. I still had no idea what exactly I was doing, but I knew I was doing something. Then I woke up. May 10th, 2017. I had a couple dreams. The first dream I had was in a place that looked like a combination of my old high school and the Yakima Training Center, which is a place I used to do police explorer training in. There were a bunch of panels going on and I was speaking at one. The panel I was speaking at took place in an auditorium that was dark, but had red curtains on the stage. There were about 50 fold-up chairs set up. When I was done speaking, I met with a few of my guy friends, at least in the dream they were. In real life, I did not know who they were. They said that they were on the politics panel, which is why they did not watch my panel. Gary was the only person who stayed and watched my panel, and he was angry about something, but I can't remember what. One of my guy friends was wearing a black and white tuxedo. He had brown hair and a thick beard. My guy friends in the dream started arguing about something political that had to do with the panel. I didn't really know what they were talking about, so I left. I walked outside the auditorium to the commons area. There were a bunch of people walking around. I saw my Tinder date IRL from a couple days ago. I literally wrote IRL. I was surprised, so I sat on the floor. He sat over me and kind of straddled me. We were both looking into each other's eyes. I said, "Kiss me." He leaned in to kiss me, but instead of kissing me, he started sucking on my lip and bit me really hard. I was really surprised. My lip started bleeding. I thought maybe he didn't know how to kiss. I said, "No, like this," and tried to kiss him again. He did the same thing and I started to bleed some more. I pushed him off and tried to run away. No one around me seemed to notice or care. Then I woke up. Okay, the second part of the dream is so dark that I don't even want to read it to you guys, so we're just gonna skip that. May 11th, 2017. I had a dream that I was in a really nice house with my family. It was big and had lots of windows. It was in a field that was nearby the beach. The house was full of these gold statues that looked like dogs, but with no eyes and had huge teeth the size and shape of horns. They came to life for a few seconds at a time and started snapping at me. As soon as they were about to bite me, they would turn back into statues. Guess that was the end of the dream. Okay, so this next dream is going to be the last dream that I read, but it's many pages long, so sit tight. But yeah. May 12th, 2017. I had a dream that was in two parts. The first part, I was in a swimming pool with, we're gonna need another fake name, we're gonna go with Lucy. I was in a swimming pool with Lucy. There were two babies in the pool, but none of them were ours. The sky was very clear and there was nothing around the pool, no buildings or trees. There were a few wisps of clouds that were barely visible. One of the babies started swimming on its own. We were so excited and tried calling over Lucy's husband, but he mostly ignored us. The other baby, who looked similar, was a lot smaller, kept almost drowning, and didn't look too good. Then that part of the dream ended. The next part of the dream started off in a gym-like room. I was surrounded by most of my current friends. Jay, Stella, Jordan, and Ian were there. I know that there were other people I knew, but I did not see them. We were all talking and preparing for a battle with these things called shadow people. We had gone to the planet of these shadow people because they had slowly been taking over Earth and killing people. If we killed them, then we would stop killing people on Earth. Stella and I were partners in battle. I kept having this vision of all of my friends dying and somehow knew in advance that we were not going to win this war, so I didn't really try to prepare. Before we started to fight, I had accepted that we were all going to die. After waiting in the gym area for a while, it was time for us to begin the battle. We were waiting in a holding area where we had to put on these special suits. I was told by a random man to put on a cotton ball in my nose so I didn't breathe in the air because the smell was so bad that it could sometimes poison people. I ignored him because I knew that we were all going to die. The doors of the holding area opened and Stella and I were the first to go out. The sky was blue and there was a lot of chaos. The ground was already covered in bodies and there were a ton of bullets whizzing past us. We had to run to go onto a creepy train that went through a tunnel that was filled with the shadow people. The tunnel was where we were supposed to practice our superpowers. Mine was electrocution, Stella's was flames. Don't really know what that means. I kept trying to electrocute them, but there were hundreds and they would not die. The shadow people were about 10 feet tall and had huge eyes that were either yellow or red. After a long time of trying to fight off the shadow people, we got to the end of the tunnel. It's filled with some random people I don't know, but then I see Jay and Ian. The people are sitting in chairs. The room looks like the inside of a cave, but it is bright and green with flowers inside of it. There are a few tables set up with food on it. All of the food is labeled as vegan. Even Dream Sonia knows to have vegan food in her dream. There are plates of what look like Hot Pockets, but different flavors of Hot Pockets. I knew this was a trap. I started telling everyone, but they were ignoring me. Everyone started eating the food. Ian got mad at Jay for eating too much food. Jay said that the food was healthy because there was some vegetables in it, so technically it should be considered a salad. The shadow people are watching us from where we come in. A few slowly start to come in. I start yelling, but no one notices. So, that is the last dream I'm going to be reading for you guys. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely have a lot more dreams that I'm going to be writing and keeping track of. So let me know if you like this video, if you want to hear more of these videos. A lot of my dreams are just super weird. If you have weird dreams that you remember, write them down below because I would love to hear them. But thank you so much for watching. If you watch until the end, comment Dream Journal Gang. Be sure to give this video a like if you liked it, a dislike if you disliked it, subscribe, follow me on YouNow, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that linked down below, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone!